Non-digital instructional materials are still relevant in the 21st century teaching and learning. Teaching becomes remunerating when students take full advantage of direction as shown in their exhibition. A significant component in drawing in students is the point at which the technique utilized in conveying the exercises utilizes an instructional material. When appropriately and suitably used, it can spice up a classroom activity. These instructional materials may come in different forms. One bunch alludes to the customary and non-digital tools. Instructional materials support learning content, permit understudies to participate in the use of ideas, and give a chance to assessment. They are created to work with student understanding. These materials give an abundance of information in all themes, offering top to bottom data dependent on realities. Non-digital learning assets are as yet of use in education classes today. For example, GIFs, which can be utilized to furnish students with information and realities. There are numerous various types of presents. For example, worksheets, activity sheets, task sheets, module, and so forth. These sheets can be dealt with as a component of a gathering or independently as a student can deal with their composition and pursuing abilities as a component of a movement and energizes students' criticism. It is essential to take note of that digital learning assets can be viewed as inconsistent and when specialized help is required and can be settled. Non-digital learning assets are expected to proceed with the exercise. The non-digital space will show up, and I agree that this is still relevant in the 21st century. At that point, not as an enemy of innovation response, but rather as a non-innovation supplement. Prior to the computerized age, pen and paper were typical apparatuses of composing, and understudies had no option in contrast to them. The PC and the internet have dislodged them, making another innovation and a total different arrangement of composing propensities. Pen and paper has another character, a basic even antagonistic one. At the point when understudies enter the non-advanced space, they have an alternate mentality, one that opposes the pressing factors of speed and development, thinks and composes against the quick and quicker methods of the web. This connectivity fills a vital instructive need, constraining understudies to perceive the innovation wherever around them and to see it from a basic distance. This is nevertheless one part of the educational plan of things to come. It permits a superior equilibrium of computerized and non-advanced standpoints. Indeed, there will be strain between the non-digital space and the remainder of the school. However, it will be perceived as a gainful pressure, not one to be survived. Even though efforts should be made to avoid peeling a new content, learning can only progress if new materials is presented. Think of this as direct instruction on paper. For example, in math, a teacher would typically write out the steps to solve a problem on the board. In this case, he or she would just do it on a piece of paper that the student could refer to before moving on. It's not the best option, but it is a realistic one. Knowing that digital resources are limited, reference materials can be provided for kids to engage in inquiry-based learning. As you structured lessons and or extended projects, contemplate about how you will get students to think at the highest level. Even with all the progress being made and practical innovation taking place, COVID-19 has unearthed on the global scale in the inequity that persists when it comes to access the high-speed Wi-Fi and technology. Even though many of us have been beating a drum for years regarding these issues, this is such a long way to go when it comes to closing the digital divide. Even in more affluent areas, one cannot assume equitable access. As such, educators are in need of ideas that can be implemented without the use of technology.